second by Billy to approve tonight's agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Approval of past minutes. They're pretty generic because I wrote them, but I will make a motion to approve the past minutes.
I'll second.
Motion by John, second by Dave. All in favor to approve the past minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved.
I'll make a motion to approve the financial report.
Okay, motion by Dave,
I'll second that.
second by Billy. The reason I have on that donation to the Little White Schoolhouse is they're thinking about doing new directional signage. Because right now the signs all still point to the old location.
Yeah, I did not know that.
And what we're gonna do, they asked me if the Historic Preservation could possibly donate some sort of money for it, and I said we'd talk about it.
Yep.
And we'll still have to ask Adam, and Adam's gonna get involved because the signs right now show, they might say Ripon High School this way, Little White Schoolhouse this way,
Yeah.
and Ripon College that way.
Yep.
And Joan Karsten, who's kind of heading this up for the Little White Schoolhouse, doesn't know if Adam wants them separated or all together yet, but we just need to decide if we want to give some money towards that
Right.
program. And
I
then,
would say, yeah, just about how much?
right,
Is it for,
Yeah.
is it moval or a new sign?
it would be a new
New
sign.
sign?
Yeah, new sign. She was
In the
talking
same
about.
location? Or do we-
Yeah, I think the same location.
I don't think that really matters, location.
Yeah. But it's gonna be coordinated with, it'll be coordinated with Ripon College, Ripon High School, City of Ripon, and Little White Schoolhouse, which is the chamber, and the Chamber of Commerce.
Yep.
All
So,
over together.
We would just have to decide what, we would want to.
Amount.
Yeah,
Well, once they propose how much, and so,
okay, we can approve the thought of giving,
oh, absolutely.
Doesn't it
We
need to be on
need,
the
we
agenda?
need, yeah.
pardon?
Doesn't it need to be on the agenda?
Well, it is,
Is
it's
it?
accept the financial report donation to the Little White Schoolhouse.
Oh, okay.
But we can-
Parentheses.
Oh, I thought that was just to accept the financial report, so,
Well, yeah.
and then the donation.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying, yeah.
I just did it with the financial report.
Gotcha. Just wanted to cross all our T's.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, we can, if we wait, we can just see exactly, let's see exactly what they're going to do.
Okay.
What the bodies are gonna, and then we can,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we could get a state grant, or there could be something else.
There could be a lot of
Yeah.
things, yeah.
Yeah.
But in theory, we would be
Yeah, I
happy
think-
to help.
I think as a group, we'd be very open
Okay.
to donating, it's a matter of how much, depending on the situation.
Well, depending on how much it's really gonna, if it's
Yeah.
thousands of dollars.
Yeah, no, I don't,
We can give some,
think
but we
we
shouldn't
should,
be
yes,
obligated
yeah.
to pay 2,000,
No.
3,000.
Right.
I mean, we do have 14, I mean, and it's great, but it's great that it took us that long to get there, but it is nice to be able to hand some of it over
mm-hmm,
for a cause it's
Yeah.
worth.
right.
And if everybody else is, it's gonna diminish the cost, for sure.
Right, they're all gonna probably,
Yeah.
well, they'll have to if they
Yep.
couldn't have their name on it. Okay, so in the minutes, I just put down there, we're open to donate, and Dave said to wait for design and cost,
Yeah.
sharing. I think that's what you said.
Close enough.
Okay. So, did you get that, Matt?
Yeah, and that sounds like a plan, because it's hard to say like, oh, we should do this until we actually know what we're doing.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
Right.
Perfect. Yep. Okay. That takes care of that. Public comments, nobody's here for public comment. We can go to certificate of appropriateness applications. Metal sign, it should say metal sign bracket. because I don't believe it's a metal sign, for 220 Watson Street.
This black square sign of our logo, which is the picture.
Looks similar to what they had before when they were down the street.
Yes, and I know Metalworks of Ripon Ann and Kim Paulus, they've made many of these signs, sign brackets.
How far is it? 30 inches.
30 inches, yeah, the bracket is,
Yeah, and then we got the 32 by 30,
yep, for the sign, yes.
and then we got
120 off the sidewalk.
cool sign.
10 foot.
Mhm. Yeah,
And it's still sign.
Yes, I take it they already got the sign.
they probably just pulled it from
Pulled it down, yeah.
the other location, so that has, you know.
I will make a motion to approve the sign in bracket.
Okay.
And then exceed.
Motion by Dave,
No, second.
second
Yeah, I remember seeing the other one.
by Billy. Any other discussion? All in favor to approve the metal sign bracket for 220 Watson Street, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. So, we're down to the update on 107.5 Watson Street. I think probably everybody knows that we had that at council, and
Yeah.
council flipped it and went in favor of that.
In favor of denial to us?
Well, in favor of her keeping the windows,
The
yes.
way it is.
The way it is, yes.
Non-compliance.
Yes. Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I think what we need to do on this, and, I've been thinking back, how this was done. It was basically a roadmap on how to do what you want
Mhm.
for downtown. I think if we need to be a little more approachable and be able, I just hear that we got a reputation of being a little too rigid, which I disagree with.
I do too. I don't
Yeah.
even like the sound of that, because
Yeah.
then why are we a committee? Why do we have a guideline and we're too strict?
Yeah,
That give
we're
or
just
take.
following the guideline.
But I
Yeah.
think what the thing is, if we have to have it where somebody comes in and says, I can't afford to spend $6,000 to put, and then say, well, for now, just paint. Come up with something that we can do to go, we're here and we're trying to get here. I would rather be here than stay here. I always want to keep moving up, however we can move up. And I think, and I believe in the past, we have been approachable. I'm not really even getting onto us. I think we've been very good
Mhm.
about this. I'm just saying the perception is there that we're a little too hard-handed or whatever, and we just need to get it out there that we're not. And that we're willing to work
I
with
just-
everyone and not, because this could have turned out way better for everyone.
Oh,
And
should, yeah.
and I think there were a lot of misconceptions
Mhm.
that caused this. And it's a shame because,
Well, I disagree all the way, because it's been over a year in the whole dilemma of it. We haven't changed nothing in a whole year. So
Yeah.
why are we the victims, and why is it wrong that we did what we did?
but we're not wrong for doing what we did.
No,
Right. We're not wrong. We did, and we shouldn't get the bad rap for being too strict or whatever. Those were the guidelines set back
Exactly.
in 1996. People in the past, everyone I've known that has applied for windows has done the archtop windows.
Or a facsimile of.
Or, yeah,
Where
with
they-
a piece of glass or something.
Yeah, they do
up
something to make
Mhm.
it, and
and I don't give her okays because she's been here 30 years. And
that's meaningless.
above. Yeah,
Well, I don't know
No,
about
that's-
that. If you're new, I could give you leeway, because you wouldn't know what's
Oh,
going
as
on.
far as knowing what's
Yeah,
going on.
and,
Yeah,
and it was in the paper, Craig T-Bone being close working with her, knows what we're all after. And he could have told her, or he could have
Yeah.
advised her. So it's kinda, all of that to me is, like, okay,
Yeah.
we're all one big unity down
Right.
there, Craig, all of us, we want the same thing.
I think
But for
so,
him to
too.
make the statement like he did, that bothers me.
I know, believe me.
yeah,
it
we
bothers
need
me
to,
also.
I just think we need to get with downtown, get with.
And it's only
Craig.
3 blocks that we're dealing with.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a little more, that's the 3 that seem
I
to
would
come
say
for
we're-
most of the permits. is
Right.
The 1,
Yeah.
2, and 300 block of Watson's.
So if we win eventually, then we're done, nobody can bother us no more, because that's all we have.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say that we win, but at least we get it right.
well,
And
they're,
those windows will stay right forever, and that's what we want.
Yeah.
yeah, well, they're shooting themselves in the foot. People come down there because they wanna see the downtown.
Mm-hmm.
This is true, you sit there long enough, you see all that.
Yes.
People are walking, they're taking pictures of the
Yes.
old buildings.
Yes.
You see it all.
And I think we need to stress that, and that we are easy to get to work with. We're not stringent, we're not, and I think most people know that, but it just kind of sends up a red flag when you got someone that's been down there all that time that just kind of went around.
Right.
Well, the
Yeah.
day, yeah,
What
because
does
the
that-
night,
what
the
does
night
that
we
tell
gave
you?
them, the night we gave them the produce, they started to work the very
The
next
next
24
day.
hours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Very next morning, I drove down and I called you and I said,
Mhm.
yeah, believe it. So, I mean, no, so
So
that hurts my feelings in a way.
I think
but-
the contractor did not do his, I blame the contractor.
But see, that's the
Absolutely.
thing, who do you blame? I mean, there's always a blame,
And
you know,
I never wanted.
but not to
Vicky
get a
pay for
permit.
it.
Well, if I, electrician, if I go in and the owner tells me this is what they want, I'm not gonna give it to them because that's what they want. The customer's not always right.
No.
You gotta go by code.
Well, and-
So, and we do have a code down there that he failed to go by, and he should have notified her, and he could have, I don't know.
That's,
But
well,
I personally would have refused to have done the work.
Yeah.
And I've done that before, back when I was working for a living. That if someone said, well, I'm not gonna spend the money for that, okay, but you're gonna have to find somebody else, because I'm not doing that.
Right, you're not gonna cut corners, yeah.
So, and that's, I think we just need to get our word out here. I'm not getting on us. I think we're doing just fine. I believe that the fact that people think we're not easy to get along with, I don't know where that's coming from.
I don't know, I heard that myself.
well,
Yeah.
how many
Yeah.
days have we had since you and I have been here?
I can just remember
On
one, and it was
half by hand.
the corner building, and they wanted to spray foam over that stone. And that was back in 2014 or 15.
I just
Yeah.
don't remember, I
Yeah.
don't remember, I mean,
Right, we've always been able to work with people.
Yes, and I think that's what the message
our
we need
track
to get
record
out.
is really good
Yeah.
for saying yes.
Yeah,
Oh, I know we didn't do anything wrong.
right.
No,
But
I
it's-
don't
well,
feel
the
that
whole
way at
thing-
all.
The whole thing goes back to the permit
Yeah,
and how that was
and,
handled.
well,
Yeah,
And how long it sat there, and then of course, well, it's been a year or so, you know. Well, that's, and none of that had anything to do with us.
no, it didn't have anything,
No.
and the permit was never issued,
The
Right.
permit was never issued.
because we never okayed it.
none of the work was legal.
Right,
And yet, 30, 60 feet from here, it was done.
mhm,
Yeah.
The next day.
yeah.
That's the only thing.
I would say lesson learned, and let's make sure we get out there and do more. to let them
Education
know.
and talking
Yeah,
and-
we're.
We have
wanna
grants
work with-
available for.
We wanna do come talk to us, we can find grants for you, we got money sitting there.
Mhm.
We could've made, look, okay, what if we give you $1,000 toward this?
Well, I had a solution to fix it for less than nothing, but no one's ever listened to me about doing the way I did 17 windows at the outdoor.
Yeah, I mean, that's.
It's just, and that's a solution to fix the problem for minimal to nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, it really.
and I think we gotta get that out there.
yeah.
Well, I won't be minimal,
Yeah.
not anymore.
Not no more,
Yeah,
yeah.
because it pissed me off.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, there are other ways around it, but of course, them not even considering it,
Right,
period.
right.
Mhm.
We just, I just think we need to get the message out there, who we are and what we're trying to accomplish.
I
And
don't
that we
know, you know.
can, that we are approachable and reasonable,
Yeah, definitely.
because we are.
We are,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know about Billy, but I mean, for everybody,
He's the most approachable guy.
I think you'd be good down, I mean,
I'm a rubber tree.
you could be the preacher down there, man, on this. I mean,
I gotta see the white smoke.
here's the deal,
Okay.
you walk the walk down there with
You
your
laughed at
building.
that one. Yeah.
I gotta see the
You
white
walk the
smoke.
walk with your building down there, man, hey, let's be good advocates for this.
That's probably one of the things that's my crawl since I've ever lived here, with those silly plywood covering over the windows in the 70s.
Yeah, but that's when, you know, they sized the windows down and,
I
yeah.
understand back then, you know, the historical thing really didn't come to play a lot.
No.
Till Cedarburg jumped on the bandwagon. They're really the ones I think that started
Yeah.
everything, primarily, and boy, when they went, they all went. That whole town just flourished like
Yeah.
anything. It's kind of like a mini, you see it here, like Cedarburg was.
Yeah,
Mhm.
see, we have a miniaturized version of what Cedarburg is,
Mhm.
and we can be Cedarburg.
Yeah,
And I
And
think,
we just have to preach that,
you know,
because we do have a lot of people coming here just to look.
mhm.
well, and of course, we have activities here for them. The brewery makes a huge,
Well, that's what they do when they get here. and
Yeah,
look,
yeah,
is they go down
the old
to
man
the-
finds a place to park and the women go and they,
Yeah.
everybody's
They go into
win-win.
the stores and
Yeah.
they're buying things they never.
As much
would
as
have
you and I
done
go
before.
down there, which is considerable amounts of times, you hardly see anybody you know.
Yeah,
In all reality, I'll see you know, I could probably count 10 out of maybe 100 in there, so that all out of
Yeah, they're
town.
out of town. people.
they're all out of town.
That's
Yeah.
great. That's
Yeah.
excellent.
But
All
that,
right, lesson learned.
but anyway,
Yes.
yeah.
Move on.
Let's go.
Well, I
All
guess,
right.
you know, I mean, I don't know how we tell anyone that we're changing tracks or
We could do some
Working.
sort of press release with
we're working
Roger
with.
Matthews.
And just finding out, and getting with Craig,
Mhm.
you know, and,
Well, Craig's gotta have he's gotta have a paperwork of everybody that owns a building down there, and you
Yeah.
can't tell me he doesn't.
Mhm.
Probably, and like he said, he knew it for 30 years and stuff, but.
Yeah,
right. I think we can,
I mean, that whole deal.
I just don't want it to ever happen again. I don't like taking it to council,
Right.
to bother council. You know,
Right.
it shouldn't,
we shouldn't have to.
shouldn't have to.
We shouldn't
Yeah.
have to, but we should be.
We should, well, we made a mistake of, we kept putting this off when we should have come up with a resolution earlier, lesson
Well, we
learned.
tried.
Yeah,
We kept asking.
Yeah.
yeah.
And that was,
We
like I
should-
said,
we
we
should
did that
have-
in good faith, but we should
yeah,
know now.
We should have pushed it harder.
We should have just denied
After
it.
1 month,
Yeah.
we should have pushed it.
Yeah,
Well, I
and
think
again,
we just-
that's our lesson learned. We
Lesson
should-
learned.
Yeah.
Okay.
If we have like, if we don't have Twitter, I think we should reject it and have that rediscussed.
Yep, you're
Yeah.
right, man,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, we can move on to Southwest Historic District signage. I don't know if you and Ron,
We haven't yet, but
Okay.
we're ready to. The weather was, you know, the days that it was good, I was working, you
Yeah.
know, so I'm kind of stuck. with
okay,
that
well,
day.
we'll just,
But we'll get them, I'll get them.
I'll leave it on again.
Next
Um,
week they'll get on there,
sure,
maybe even over the weekend or two,
okay.
so that'll all be done.
Number 10 was tax credits for historic homes. Matt Koski and Historical Society kind of set up that April 24th presentation. I went to it. It was good. Matt,
Okay.
would you like to say something about it?
Yeah, I think it was good. It was actually fairly well attended. And there was a lot of people who also asked some very good questions about their specific properties. A lot of people that are in the other historic districts that are not necessarily the downtown historic district.
Yep.
And one thing I found out is that a lot of the paperwork can now basically be filled out on the Wisconsin Historical Society website. So you don't even have to really mail much of anything in to start the process.
Nice.
Yep. They talked about income producing, buildings plus
Yeah.
just regular residential.
Okay.
it's a little bit more difficult with a income producing building.
Right.
Yeah.
But, it seems like, from what I gathered, Matt, the single residential home is quite simple to fill it out and get approved.
Yeah, get approved and pretty much they'll kind of handhold you getting through the process in
Mhm.
many ways.
And I think he did say plan on about 30 days for approval. So people have to plan ahead so things don't get started before approval.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's also one of those things there's one person that basically said they wish they have known about this beforehand because there's a lot of stuff they've already done that would have been qualified
Yeah.
for tax
Yeah.
credits.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, because there's some surprising things. New water heater.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you can deduct that.
Mm-hmm.
They'll pay 20%,
Would be nice, yeah, that would help.
or you get a 20% tax
Tax
credit.
credit, yeah.
That's the thing that people don't understand. They think you're gonna get it right away. It's
Yeah.
like, no, whatever your taxes are, you get a discount off of that.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly, that's
yeah.
what it is, yeah.
So it's still the same, it's just that's when it happens.
Not a
You
bad
don't
thing.
walk in and get it.
No, still not a bad thing.
Yes,
No.
no, but they
It's-
think this way.
Yeah.
Oh, good, I'll get it right now. No.
I guess currently it's about was it 6 years of that they can take it over, if I remember correctly?
Yeah, I think it
So,
was, if it's a large project, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can pay,
Yep,
separate.
yeah, you can do it for a couple of years.
Yeah,
And when I think, there was one other thing, if I remember correctly, is I think this might have been for income producing properties or was for homes, where you basically had a ceiling of about $10,000, but you can apply for multiple $10,000 applications.
Hmm,
So you
okay.
can you have a roof, you do that, you have a bunch of stuff you have to repair on porch, you do that.
yes, I think it was $40,000 per application.
Yeah, I thought so too.
So, I mean, he thought 10, but I think it's 40.
I did
But
too.
if you have multiple projects, you just bust them up into,
Yeah, because a
Separate
roof would,
Yeah.
that's 20 grand
Yeah.
nowadays or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
20 plus.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that was a good presentation, I'm glad I went to it. Anything else on that, Matt?
Nothing to think of directly.
Okay, we'll go to the scavenger hunt that, I printed off those sheets. And I know you're still working on it yet a little bit, or,
Yeah, I just figured I'd get some feedback from you guys if there's anything that might want to be added or changed. Or I think I have about 10 things that I grabbed from different photos around downtown there.
yeah, no, that looks nice,
Yeah, that's
No,
not
it's
too
perfect.
many, so that's doable.
right.
And,
Yeah.
and also the other thing is I haven't got a chance to print it out. Is how well did it translate once printed out? Some of those pictures.
Say that again, please?
Yeah, because I tried to see if I can keep it to one page, and I'm just wondering how well the pictures translate
Okay. Yeah.
when they're actually printed out.
Yeah, they're good.
I think on my cheap little printer, they look good, I think.
yeah,
Okay, cool.
We just need to, I think you're right on the right track, and you can fine tune whatever you want to. We just need to decide if we're gonna do,
Awards?
yeah, if we're gonna do first place
Yeah.
is $100 or $75, or, I know a couple years ago it was $100.
yep,
And multiple people got them correct,
yeah.
and then it was just a lottery.
Then you
Then
do
we
a
just pulled the
drawing.
name out of the hat,
Yeah.
and,
Mm-hmm.
And, I think chamber bucks,
yes.
Would you have a time limit
Absolutely.
on it so you don't get too many so everybody's mad? Well, I had the same one,
we do, that's when you do the drawing.
but I mean, yeah.
Everybody gets it.
So, like the month?
Yeah.
Or-
Yeah,
Whatever, I'm gonna leave it up to Matt how many
Yeah.
days he wants
I
to,
just don't want
Right.
it out there now.
if it starts, June 1st and runs to the 30th
right.
or
The
something.
way you want it so
Or we
that,
could just, maybe June 1st to the 30th, basically be a good little summer activity. And
Yeah,
I mean, you can put these downtown and people can that are visiting,
Yes,
It's a-
we
it's a
could put
reason
them
to-
down by Canoe, say,
Yeah.
and they're there, they
Yeah.
could walk the streets, or
We
Patina
can take
V,
them
or,
and put in there that it's, you know, $100 in chamber bucks reward for doing it. And
And
while
then-
they're walking around looking, they're going, hey, look at this, let's go in here.
yes.
Yeah, I mean, it'd
Exactly.
be perfect.
Well, that's, you know, that could be a trick too, you know, you have one inside, would make you have to go in somewhere.
Could.
You could.
And
Could
would
put a
you-
couple
And
inside.
would you have one
I like
really
that.
hard one?
We gotta have one really hard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because they're pretty easy.
That's
I mean-
what I was thinking.
You did a good job, man, but I'm just saying, I'm thinking like, you know,
ooh, if we did like one exterior one that was kind of difficult, and then do two interior, that where you really would have to go in and look, probably not gonna have to worry about ties either.
that's the reason I brought it up.
Yeah.
Let's make it fun and a little harder.
Yeah, make it harder, make people.
For us,
work.
we're here,
Yeah.
we already know.
Yeah,
very
make it a little
much,
harder for folks.
Sure.
Make them have to look harder, that's what we want, we want them digging in
And
the
I think
stores.
that the shop owners would love it if somebody had to come in
Right, and start looking.
and start looking for, I'm looking for,
Well, yeah, they say,
Yeah.
you know, they say, can I help you? Oh, no, we're looking for this.
yeah.
Do you have it
Yeah.
here? I mean,
Look around. see
and they
what
couldn't be
see
mad
what
at that because you
Yeah.
just brought in a new client.
Yeah.
Just brought in somebody in the store to look.
That's a great idea, I think.
Yeah,
What do you think, Matt? Can you find something like that?
Sure, I can go, yeah, the one thing I kept myself to one thing is that I kept myself to original materials.
Okay,
When I was
good.
looking around, so I'll try to figure out which building still has a more of original interior.
Mhm.
Okay.
nice, very
Yeah.
nice, very nice.
Good. Okay, well, I'm gonna keep that back on for, for next month, and if you get it ready, we can have it all ready for
Print them out. hang 'em
next
out.
month, yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
and then maybe
June,
also,
July,
I'll see about making up we can get made up a press release so like it can go to the newspaper.
Yes.
Perfect.
I think you should, on the paper that you have, like I printed off, you
Yeah.
should put on there somewhere that first place is $100 of Ripon Chamber bucks.
Okay.
Yeah,
and I think we should have a second place so they keep looking.
yeah, we could do it. I was
Yeah.
thinking first, second, third.
Okay,
And that way, with the 3 prizes and with the chamber
yeah, you can
bucks.
put it right underneath that.
You would
First,
do
second, third.
a winner per month and then start over. But then that would mean new,
You'd have to redo it.
Yeah, you have to redo everything. I think
We'll do it for a month.
So
and
just
see what
first, second,
happens.
and third place.
Yeah.
175 and 50, or do you want to go 150 and
Yeah,
25?
it's 150 and 25, I think.
Okay.
And that
Yeah.
way,
Okay,
that would,
It's still-
if someone will do it
half
for
and half.
25,
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
winner, you know.
all right. Did you hear that, Matt?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I think that'll be good, and then we'll do a press release.
Yeah, we could put on there too, sponsored by Ripon.
Sponsored by Matt.
Or sponsored by Matt, yeah, put his phone down.
And then everybody can call us.
Is there any place downtown that has a floor mat?
Or Matt.
Yeah.
I gotta break some notes here for the minutes. First, second, and third place, and then like a press release.
He wants somebody up by chance, the building will get sold or something, they'll start painting that first.
Yeah.
Then you'll have to really find it under the bank.
Okay,
Not gonna happen.
that sounds good, Matt, if you can do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else on that? I'm excited about that, I think that'll be
I think
good.
you did a great job, Matt.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, ordinance, number 12 is ordinance change to allow non-Ripon resident building owners on the commission. I asked Adam if we could do that. Right now, the ordinance is you must be a Ripon resident.
Yeah,
But we do have a number of building owners that live out, like, say, one in Pickett or
Yeah.
Brandon or wherever. So Naomi was gonna look into that, talk to Adam about that, and I think it'll require,
yeah, it's a
County
matter of the
council.
council making a change on
Yes.
that.
I think it's a good idea, but you guys can weigh in
Well,
on it.
I would argue for that simply because they got skin in the game, they got a building here.
Yes.
And I think as long as they own the building,
Yeah,
Mhm.
and the mayor puts them here and the council accepts them as,
Mhm.
then as long as they're on the building, they're eligible. It'd be like one of us moving
yeah,
out of
yeah, you
town.
can't blackball them.
No, I don't think, I think that it should be allowed.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly, because that's somebody that really has a
Are you gonna write it
vested
up?
interest.
Yep,
And,
Are you gonna write it up, John?
the ordinance change? I think Adam or Naomi was.
yeah,
gonna
Adam
do
would
that,
be the
yeah.
one to talk to. and-
Right, and it's already in the works.
Okay. Yeah, or, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, the only questions I might have is, one is like, to make sure that the state historical society and the, and how the legislation for historic, commissions understands, just want to make sure that's highest dotted.
Right, yeah,
And then the only other question I might have is about LLCs. It's like the building is owned through an LLC that's maybe a single owner or maybe a multi-owner, are they allowed them to
and that,
be made, put on as well?
I think that way the mayor would look at that
Yeah,
and probably, I mean, personally, I would pick single owners before an LLC, because that could be
Right.
a big
Oh, it could be
group of
anywhere.
people. Yeah,
well, we're not gonna get, that's gonna be an out-of-state group or something if they do own something like, and they're not gonna be able to attend a meeting anyway. so
right,
it's-
yeah, so it'd be
Yeah.
foolish to have them
Yeah,
on.
I mean, the whole idea of doing this is to get someone that's local, that just doesn't live in a
Right.
city, that also owns a building.
Yes, and wants to,
And they could have it in an LLC and be the sole owner.
sure, because most people have them that way.
Yeah.
They don't-
Yeah.
Protection.
Yeah,
So I wouldn't get too tricky about wording it that way.
Right.
If they are the sole owner of it, that
Would we want them to have like a, articles of incorporation that state that they're the sole owner?
I don't know, I think I'll leave that up to the mayor to
yeah,
look at and pick, say he's gonna pick somebody, and chances are, we know the person. I
right.
mean, I know the people that own the 3 on Watson Street, across the street from mine.
Yeah.
And they live in Pickett, so
Yeah.
it'd be a easy,
Yeah, I think
match.
if they were interested in coming, it would be
Right.
hard to show up here,
yeah,
yeah, for a meeting. And also they would, obviously they come here every day.
yes, they,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so, yeah.
Yeah, it would be nice to have a couple of people. I knew I had to kind of call in for this just because otherwise we didn't have forums.
right, yep, exactly. And if we're right by the skin of our teeth with 4, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good. We're all in agreement on that, which is good. I guess we're down to the next meeting date, and I didn't look on my calendar. June, do you have your, oh, I can do it, I guess.
Yeah, May the 7th.
Looks like it's the 4th.
Yes, June 4th. 6:30. Okay. That would be great. And if you could have that ready for us for that,
Sure.
and we don't have to start June, we could start June 5th or 10th or whatever for that scavenger hunt.
Or maybe even have it so it's like when we get like a lot of visitors around from for 4th of July, we can
Yeah.
maybe have it go from mid-month to mid-month.
That's what I was.
Yeah. That sounds even better, then we don't have to rush it.
All right,
Okay,
motion to adjourn.
motion by Dave, second by Billy. To adjourn, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, thank you, Matt.
Good job, you didn't hit a telephone pole.
Yeah.